good evening, everyone, and welcome to this our second the Government in Focus segment for this year. It is our candidate forum. We have 4 candidates for City Council, and we're here to ply them with questions and get some answers. We will be recording this evening, so just want you to know we will have this posted, the answers posted on YouTube tomorrow, as well as Facebook, the Kirksville Chamber YouTube channel. We will have the link posted on Facebook as well. So we want to welcome you. I am Marie Murphy. I'm the director of the Chamber. I am thankful that Cherie Eckloff has agreed tonight to be our moderator. Cherie has done this for us on several occasions in the past, and we really appreciate her willingness to be with us this evening to ask you the questions and keep things on track. I will, for the moment, be the timekeeper. Each candidate will get 2 minutes to respond to each question, and then following that, we will hear some more. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Cherie Eckloff to get us started, and she will explain all the rules.
Yes. I thought you were going to steal my thunder there.
No.
So thank you, Marie. I'll begin by explaining the format for this evening. A timekeeping device clearly visible to the candidates is provided to notify them with cues, both audible and visual. An alarm will sound to give a 30-second warning, and a second alarm will sound when time is up. Time limits on responses will be strictly observed. A candidate who violates the beeper warning to stop may be given less time for their next response. Please help me recognize Jade Shorten, who's not here yet, who has volunteered to be our timekeeper this evening. I understand Jade will be joining us when she can. So the format for the forum will begin with a 2-minute introduction from each candidate, where they will tell us why they would like to be elected to the position. Candidates will then be asked questions in a rotating fashion, with each candidate allowed 2 minutes to answer. No rebuttals will be offered in the forum. There will be no closing statements. The moderator may interrupt a candidate's response if she believes the candidate is straying from the subject. The candidates may not interrupt one another, and there will be no candidate-to-candidate questions. Candidates must refrain from personal attacks or charges. In addition, we have a 15-minute presentation from the mayor, Zach Burden, and council member John Gardner regarding a bond issue on the ballot for the upcoming April 8th election. We'll now begin our forum for the Kirksville City Council candidates. Will the candidates please come up to the table? And we welcome Jade. Please join us now. There are 4 candidates for City Council running for 2 open seats, and these are 3-year terms. They are, in alphabetical order, Kevin Alm, Kabir Bansal, who wasn't able to join us this evening, had a scheduling conflict at the last minute, Zach Burden, and Danny McDowell. Welcome, candidates, and thank you for your time this evening. We'll begin with opening statements given in alphabetical order. So Kevin Alm, will be the first to respond with your opening statement. You have 2 minutes.
All right. Hello everyone, my name is Kevin A. Alm. I've been in Kirksville for over 50 years, and it's been a really nice town and everything, but made a lot of friends and stuff. Now I'm having a little situation. And also, as a reason I'm running for City Council is to clean up the legal mess we have right so far. And I know a lot of people don't understand that, but I'd like to improve a lot of things, improve and then share different ideas and thoughts to everybody. So, that way everybody agree on, so.
Okay, Zach Burton, you have 2 minutes for your opening statement.
Thank you, Cherie. Good evening, my name is Zach Burton. And for the past 6 years, it's been my honor to serve as an elected member of the Kirksville City Council, and also during those 6 years, to serve the people of Kirksville as the mayor. And I'm really proud of my service to this community. I'm proud to call this community home, and I'm really glad to be running for this position to be able to continue to serve this community. I mentioned pride, and there's a lot of things I'm proud of over these past 6 years. And that includes helping to shape our city council into a body that is more professional, one that's more responsive, one that is more focused on positive initiatives that benefit everyone here in Kirksville. I'm really proud of our city during this tenure as well. I'm proud that this is a city where all of us in this community have become more engaged and connected. I'm proud that this is a city that's doing more to tackle roads. I'm proud that this is a city that's also looking at sidewalks and bike lanes. I'm proud that this is a city that's building out new experiences through our parks and recreation system. I'm proud that this is a city that's addressing and bringing down crime. I'm proud that this is a city that is focused on innovative solutions to things that all communities have dealt with for a long time. And I'm asking the people of Kirksville to return me to the council for one final term. If re-elected, this would most likely be my last one. And over those next 3 years, I would keep my commitments that I've always had to the people of this community. That would be the commitment to work really hard, to show up to everything I can, and to always do my homework. Commitment to talk with people wherever they need to, whether that's in the gazebo at Brashear Park, or in their living rooms, or in the aisles at Hy-Vee, or wherever those conversations come up. And my commitment to serve always with integrity, weigh in on all the different issues and to bring all parties to bear, admit when I've made mistakes and try to do better where I can, and to consider everyone who needs to be a part of the decision. It's my hope that my experience and the conversation tonight will convince folks to return me. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. McDowell, Danny McDowell, you have 2 minutes for your opening statement.
I run for city council. I feel we need some change in our structure up there in the city council. The citizens need to be listened to. They need to be looked at. We need to take care of them. The citizen is a main part of the city government. We need to get our citizens involved in it more. What it's going to take, I don't know, but I'm willing to do my whole effort. My whole thing is to represent the citizens and hear what they want, and to change some stuff. We have very poor transparency in our government up there. I think it's time that we reverse our directions of our government and change some things at city. I've got plenty that I could stand here and say for the next hour, but I'm not gonna do it.
Thank you, Mr. McDowell. This will conclude our opening statements. Candidates, we're now ready for the question and answer session. So when I give you the question and it's time for you to answer, please let me know if you need it repeated before you begin. So the first question is, how do you see yourself using your experience to better our community? And Zach Burton, we'll start with you. You have 2 minutes for your answer.
Thanks, Cherie. I think I bring a lot of experience when it comes to this particular election. That begins with 6 years of experience on the city council and 6 years serving as the mayor. But I think it's not just enough to be able to say, well, hey, I've been on these boards and I've served on them, right? It's really about recognizing the experience that goes into that, the hard work that's been put in place, serving with different boards and commissions, and understanding how things work in our city so that we can enact the positive changes that we're all hoping to see. It's about relationships established with different governments, different people who work in state, federal, other local branches of our government as well, and finding out different ways in which we can work more collaboratively so that we can come up with solutions that we're all hoping to be a part of. It's also just a lot about knowledge. What are the resources that we have available? Also, what are our limitations? And how can we work within those resources and limitations to come up with unique solutions? I think I bring that as a really solid experience for the next 3 years of service. But I think I bring other experiences outside of just having served on this council as well. I've spent over 20 years as a professional in residence life. I've worked in college dormitories my entire adult life. What does that really mean? It's about building communities, working with students as they forge communities and how they can create the spaces that are positive and work well for them. I enjoy being able to bring that kind of work to the work of the city of Kirksville as we build out our larger community here. That's a real personal joy of mine. I bring experience from serving on a welcome ministry and leading that at my church and finding ways to make sure that people are connected and feel welcome and know where they have a place, not just to be, but a place to serve and a place to truly live. I'd also point to work with previous service organizations and other areas that point to an organized, industrious person who really wants to do the best by the people of this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Burton. And Danny McDowell. You have 2 minutes.
Will you repeat the question?
Oh, sure. Now I have it marked and now I've lost it. How do you see yourself using your experience to better our community?
With the experience I've had in Kirksville and the life, the jobs I've had, I can come forward and bring a lot of change to this government that could benefit every citizen. The ones not so privileged, the low income, all of it. We are looking over a big group of citizens that really need to be heard and seen. Every citizen counts. They mean something. And I'm here to represent them and bring forth them feeling more welcome in the government than what we get now. It's gotta have the citizens in it. They've gotta be at the meetings. If they're not at the meetings, a lot of times it's not covered on media, it's not covered. We don't know what's going on. And to go out here and talk to them on the street. We need them in our council room, we need that room filled. I don't see the effort being made to get it filled. We've gotta make the citizens feel welcome and wanna come. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McDowell. And Kevin, you have 2 minutes. Do you need to repeat the question? How do you see yourself using your experience to better our community?
Okay. Since I was working with Bob Jones several years ago, so I met a lot of people and a lot of good people, and lots of musicians and stuff. But I really enjoy working when I come to the station. I really enjoy working with them, coming and going. I have made a lot of good friends with them, but I've heard their thoughts and ideas, and I'd like to share them more often to appreciate, try to keep the community up and working in the right way, not the wrong way. Now, I know there are a lot of exceptions, a lot of things in terms, but there's a lot of things that's not a good idea. But I want a lot for it, so we can bring more people and we can, as much as we possibly can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alm. Okay, now we will move to question number 2. What is something you believe the city needs to do to attract businesses and industry to invest in Northeast Missouri and the greater Kirksville area? And how will you address this as a city council member? Mr. Burton, you will be first.
Okay.
You have.
You want to switch the order of the candidates? So I know we've done that previously. I'm happy to go first, but.
Did I? Oh, I think, Mr. Bonsall was. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
is it my turn to go first?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
my apologies.
That was the
Okay.
rotating fashion.
Okay,
That
I
probably
just want to
wasn't
make sure.
explained.
No,
So
you're fine.
We started with Kevin for the opening statements, then went to you, then Mr. McDowell. then-
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sounds good then.
Okay.
So, Well, I think when it comes to looking at, growing business and industry in Kirksville overall, how do we get our commerce to where we would like to see it? Where do we get family supporting jobs where we want them to be? I'm reminded of a time at a Kirksville Regional Economic Development annual meeting where a site selector was brought in as the focus speaker and talked about, what are the things that communities are looking for, rather corporations and industries are looking for when they're trying to select communities where they would like to expand to. One of the things he pointed out is it's the same sorts of things that we're all looking for that make our own communities better, right? It's about expanding our parks and recreation system into something that people truly cherish, value, and utilize. It is about investing in our fire and police so that we have the safety concerns addressed and to the point where folks feel that this is an overly wonderful place for safety. It's about recognizing that we have the educational resources at hand. It's about recognizing that we have very distinct resources like water, electricity, and other things that are ready to go. These are the kinds of things that I think the city of Kirksville works particularly well at. These are the kinds of things where we know that there are other communities who experience challenges in being able to provide some of these resources, some of these benefits, the sorts of things that would make a company want to move operations or to grow their operations in a community like this. So what can the city do? Continue to make investments in these resources, continue to identify strong planning strategies so that we are prepared for the future, and that we're not in a situation where we're having to turn away industry and commerce, but instead are at a place where we can welcome them to the table and welcome them as a part of our community. We also have to focus on the relationships between different governments, the relationships between those who have the access to state aid. All of those things truly matter. And I think this is a city that's well poised to do it, and I hope we continue to support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burton, and you are right. Mr. Boswell not being here tonight through my rotation.
That's okay.
Didn't fix that, so, Danny McDowell, you will be next. And I'll go ahead and repeat the question.
Sure.
What is something you believe the city needs to do to attract businesses and industry to invest in Northeast Missouri and the greater Kirksville area? And how will you address this as a city council member?
I think the first thing we would need to do is get rid of a lot of the negative feelings that our citizens have. How they're disgusted with what we have around here. That would help them. There's nothing that hurts a business trying to come in here and talk to the citizens. It's kind of irate, unhappy with our government, the way we function around here. And a lot of that has to do with, this is citizens that don't have a lot of money, and they're going from day to day. It's hard to do. But I don't see this happening. I don't see them trying to reverse it. For our small business and everything else, we gotta get out and we have to promote it. However it is, we have to keep our eyes open and look at it. We have to look outside of the box at this point with our economy the way it is. We need to work hard and try to bring more jobs and more businesses to Kirksville. And a lot of it has to do with how the whole city of Kirksville takes to the fact that that's what we need to do. And I don't feel the council has looked hard enough at this at that point. It's all either what I want and this is it, and we seem to forget about the rest of our citizens. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McDowell. And Mr. Alm? Do you want me to just repeat the question? Okay. What is something you believe the city needs to do to attract businesses and industry to invest in Northeast Missouri and the greater Kirksville area? And how will you address this as a city council member?
I know Kirksville for many years I've been running for council. This is my 36th time running. But we have a lot of legal situations going on with the codes. I don't know, because I've been harassed for so long, and also the city's been having a lot of problems with others. there's so much going on, somehow we need to get this mess cleaned up. And so me and many others and I have been harassed so much. It's time for a lot of council to clean up this mess. So that's why I like to get my foot stuck in the door and get this mess cleaned up. And I know it's gonna be rough, but I'm looking forward to try to get things done. But we have a lot of ideas, like I said before, we have a lot of ideas, thoughts, and dreams coming to Kirksville. But we got to get the closest thing done first.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ong. All right, we are moving right along here. So, question number 3, and we'll start with Mr. McDowell. And the question is, do you support Proposition B? And if so, why? And if not, why not?
No, I do not support it. I could not support it. Part of it's the way it was presented to us, the fast actions of cropping up with all these projects all at once. Do we need all of them? In my estimation, no. Let's take care of the worst problems we got, and then we can move on to something else. I say no, and to everyone I'm running up against, I tell them to vote no. It needs to change. This was put before all of us citizens in a rush order, in a hurry. That's the way our government acts at the city. The quicker they can get it by and the citizens can't figure it out, they get their way. And I say no.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McDowell. And the mayor, once again, the mayor, Zach Burden, and Councilmember John Gardner will explain what Proposition B is at the close of the question and the answer session. So, okay, Kevin Ong, you are next. So do you support Proposition B? If so, why? If not, why not?
Well, I definitely do not support it. Because for many years, the city's been taxing a lot of people who really don't need that 3/8 cents tax. And just not too long ago, the city's been raising our utility rates, it's all raises right now. And my water bill went from $60 to $80 with solid raises. And I know a lot of people, I've heard that Village 76 and many other places that are getting tired of paying higher taxes, more taxes when we really don't need. But my thoughts and ideas, if the fire station is going to be cleared out of the center town area, why don't we just keep it there for a while, and for a while, and the police department wants a different location. They can raise have a second or third floor up, or take over the Greenwood School, which is another thought. Well, I know that some people say it's an autistic school, but we really don't. Anyway, and I know there's a lot of things going on. The community center would be great for the armory, but we need to try to keep everything close by in the center town areas, and that way, if the fire department or the police department has to go clear up north and come down and go clear down south, but we really don't need that. We need everything local, up close and close by.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ong. And Zach Burden.
Thank you very much. I'm an ardent supporter of Proposition B, which is why I was proud to vote to place it on the April 8th ballot so the citizens of Kirksville can make a decision on this. There are challenges that we face. And we talked earlier about how do we grow our community. Part of growing our community means recognizing where we have challenges and being strategic in how we move forward in addressing those challenges. That includes challenges that limit our capacity to provide the best safety here in Kirksville. We have limitations at our current police station that jeopardize the safety of our police officers, of arrestees, of the public who use it. Our one fire department strategy for our town isn't sufficient enough to get trucks to every place in town on time to prevent loss of property and loss of life the way that we would like to. We have problems with safety and access and service that can't be addressed by our current city hall. And all of these are because these are facilities that weren't purpose-built. They have done their job for a long time, and we've made do for a long time. But we've reached a point where make do no longer makes sense. And instead of kicking the can down the road, what we need to do is address these issues. And that's what Proposition B allows for. An opportunity to build out the purpose-built facilities that our first responders need, not just to do their jobs, but also to recruit and retain the professionals that it can be so difficult, and we're in fierce competition with other communities. And I mentioned other communities. This isn't something that Kirksville's looking to do. There are other communities around Northeast Missouri, around North Missouri, throughout the region that are building out the facilities that they need. We risk losing out to those communities when it comes to recruiting first responders. We want to make sure that we can present the best package. We work hard to do that with pay. We work hard to do that with training and opportunities. The facilities need to be there as well. I'm proud to support this measure. I've been talking with a lot of folks in town about it. I'm excited about their support, and I hope everyone will work to be informed on it. I recognize not everybody's going to vote yes, but I'd like everyone to be informed when they do vote. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Burden. Okay, and question number 4, we'll start with Kevin. You want to make your way up there? Okay, question number 4. People have expressed concern about the decline in enrollment at Truman State University. What, if anything, do you think Kirksville can do to help attract students to Truman and Kirksville?
That's been a problem for a long time. The school belongs to, and originally, the school was supposed to take place in St. Joseph, Missouri, not here. Not here. Because Mrs. Joseph Baldwin was given $50 to take the school somewhere else. But take the school somewhere else, and it came out. But the school legally is supposed to take place in St. Joe. But somebody, like I said, somebody gave him Joseph Baldwin $50. Got there. Everybody was waiting for it. Everybody was going on. The situation, Mr. Joseph Baldwin hopped in one stagecoach, got on another one, left town. Everybody was waiting, what's going on. And we definitely need it. As far as I know, the school was too big for a town like this. It's time for school to go. We don't need it here because we're not a population of 75,000 or more. We're under population 12,000. That's what I've been here. We need to get this mess cleaned up. We do not have room for 2 universities. We need to get the facts, to get this thing straight. That's something that's written. I know they brought in so much drugs and violence and everything else. We need to get them to stop. But everybody, that's what I've been here for a lot of people. It's time to realize what's going on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alm. And Mr. Burden, you'll be next.
Thank you, Cherie. I'm really proud of Truman State University. I'm proud because I'm a graduate of Truman. I'm proud because I'm an employee at the university. But even if I weren't those 2 things, I'd be proud of Truman State University and what it means to this community, what it means to Kirksville, Northeast Missouri, and the state. And because I'm so proud of this institution and all that it brings, I think we have an opportunity as the city of Kirksville to be Truman's greatest asset when it comes to recruiting students. We need them to know the fine community that they would be a part of. One of the things that we have the opportunity to do is to reach out to prospective students in a variety of ways. I get the chance to talk with them as mayor at different visit events, and I let them know just how thrilled we are to have them here. That we want them to be not just on an island of Kirksville that floats on the sea that is Kirksville, but to really become invested in what it is that we have going on. So what is it that we can do? Well, I think the we is about not just the little W-E, but what can we at City Hall do? It's about the big W-E, we. What can we all in this entire community do to help people feel welcome from the first time they ever visit here? So there are the small things we do when we recognize a family that's visiting, whether it's at a hotel or a restaurant in town, to take the opportunity to say, hey, are you visiting our community? We would love to have you here. We're so proud of Truman and the students and all that that brings to our community. We have so many resources we would like for you to know about. In talking with a lot of students, this is a small town by comparison, and I think when we're able to showcase to them all the things that we have to offer, both as far as material things like stores and shops and businesses and services, but in the kindness of our heart and the welcome that we want to put out to people, those are the kinds of things that are going to help Kirksville stand out when students are making a decision on where to go. That's the kind of thing that's going to help Truman stand out, and I want to make sure we're committed to that going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burden. And Mr. McDowell.
Truman is a big asset to Kirksville. What would we do if we didn't have these students coming to Kirksville, spending their money, going to town? Their families coming and visiting. It's very important that when they come to Kirksville, that they feel like they've come into a big family of Kirksville, the whole Kirksville. We have to reach out and make our students feel that way, which I talked to several of them, and a lot of them don't feel that way. A lot of them have a lot of complaints about Kirksville. What does Kirksville actually offer our students? What do we go out of our way to offer? When you get right down to it, the students is what makes Truman. And when we're down as many students as we are right now at Truman, we all need to pitch in and make them feel and make them want to come to Truman. When you're talking 3,000 students down right now, look at what Truman's lost in tuition. Look at what we're losing in our taxes. Them students are here for 9 months out of the year. Kirksville has to be made, the students feel like, hey, we're their parents away from home. I work every day with the students, I hear their complaints. Truman's working hard to try to figure ways to increase the students. And I know they're working hard at it. Truman's my life. I've been down there for 28 years. The best place I ever worked. A lot of the help, a lot of the staff down there are great. It's just like everywhere else. You always have a few bad apples in the barrel, so I'm sure we got them down there. But we do try to take care of them and get it straightened out. We have to have these students. We have to get more in. We have to make them feel welcome. And we're sure not getting that job done.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McDowell. So this concludes our questions for our Kirksville City Council candidates. Thank you to all of you for sharing your time with us this evening, and we wish you the best in the election, April the 8th. And we also want to thank you for being willing to serve in public office. It takes a lot of time and a lot of devotion, and we appreciate your even wanting to do that. So thank you for joining us. So if you guys can go back to your seats if you wish. And we now introduce Zach Burden and John Gardner to discuss Proposition B. You have the floor.
We appreciate it. Thank you, Cherie. Thank you to the Kirksville Chamber of Commerce for the opportunity to talk about Proposition B tonight. My name is Zach Burden, Mayor of the City of Kirksville. I'm joined by Mayor Pro Tem John Gardner. And we're glad to talk with everybody tonight about this measure. And as you heard me mention earlier, we're proud to put this before the people of Kirksville. You know, we lack facilities that were purpose-built to carry out the function that we need for the people who are working in those various departments. And in order to continue to improve the services the way that we would like to, we've got to be able to provide those staff members with the resources they need, right? When the police chief and the fire chief reach out and say, you know, I need these resources when it comes to equipment, when it comes to staffing, when it comes to salary, the council listens and we act. And when we've got folks coming and saying, you know, we need the facilities that are going to allow us to move things forward, we want to act on that as well. There's an opportunity and a responsibility here, but with it also comes some solutions. I want to talk tonight about those challenges and those opportunities. And speaking on those challenges, Mayor Pro Tem John Gardner.
I appreciate the opportunity to be with you all today and talk about this issue. It's very important to me. I think it's very important to our community, and I hope that you all choose to vote yes on this measure. When we look at this issue, the first thing we have to understand is there really a problem, or are we just trying to do something because we want to do something? And I think there really is a problem here. I think when you look at our facilities, and we'll just go facility by facility and kind of talk about them, this is why we need to improve them. So when you look at the police department, that is not a built police department. That's a bank, and we have made it into a police department. We've made it work for a while, but again, it doesn't really serve the purpose. And I encourage you to watch the video that's online, or if you haven't had a chance to do a tour, and go check it out. Our police officers have to escort people that have been arrested downstairs. These people may be intoxicated, they may be combative, those kinds of things. The evidence. The same place where our police officers eat their meals is where they have to put the evidence, on that same table. There's not enough space in the rooms to change and get ready for their shifts. There is not enough room for the evidence. Last night we had to pass a measure so that they could get rid of records faster because they don't have enough storage records, or space to store their records at the police station. So there's a lot of issues with that space. It's not a police station. When you go in to give a report, you're standing out in the public where everybody can see you. If that's a personal issue, that's a terrible place to have to do that. When we think about our fire station, it's in the center of town. There's a given response rate that fire are supposed to respond to and able to get to all the different calls that they're supposed to get to. They cannot get to the north side of town right now in time. Additionally, we invest a great deal of money in the equipment for our firefighters. A lot of that equipment is stored out in the open right now because there's no place to put it. We need storage facilities for that equipment so it can last as long as we need it to. It can serve the appropriate purposes. When you look at City Hall, that was a post office, okay? And it's a post office from more than 100 years ago. We've been in it for quite a while. It doesn't really serve the purpose, but one of the things that's most important to me is the dignity of our citizens. Many of our community members come in there to pay bills, and that may be one of the main social interactions they have. If they have mobility impairments, they have to come around the back of that building, through the alley, up an elevator. There's not great dignity in that. Additionally, this past winter, we've had many days where it was very, very cold. We don't really have very good warming centers in this community. A new City Hall annex can serve as a warming center to help those most in need during those very cold times, or in the summer during those very hot times as a cooling center. So we have some serious issues in this town with the facilities that we have, and we need to address those. And I think it's time to address them now. We've waited too long, quite frankly, but I think we have some good solutions. I think it's reasonable solutions, and I think it will serve our community to continue moving us forward. So I'd like to invite Zach back up to talk about those.
Thank you, John. You know, this is something that the city has been working at for years, has been planning for a long time. We'll talk a little bit more about the financing and the savings that have been put in a long time to address this project, to where it's at a time where we can move forward with it. We can ask the citizens to join us in that and making that call. But I want to talk about what are those solutions and then the opportunities that come with them. With passage of Proposition B, we would be building a purpose-built police station. This would be located on city-owned land just northwest of the downtown square. This would be a single-story police station. And I encourage folks to go online and take a look at the floor plan for this police station. You'll be amazed at just how simple of a floor plan it is. It provides the basics for what a police station needs. And that's when you realize, if this is the basics and this is what we're hoping to get to, what is it that we're coming from, right? It includes things like a secure entrance for the police officers to enter when they have an arrestee in the vehicle that's in a secured parking lot, an opportunity then to have that in a controlled sally port and bring them in. It includes a place to sit down with an arrestee in a secure fashion, and that we're not having to take additional police officers off of patrol just to make sure that the other police officer is safe in those particular conditions. It includes capacity for evidence storage. It includes the room we need to be able to be the regional hub for fighting internet crimes and working to protect children. All of those things are found in this purpose-built police station, which is an absolute must. This would include, by passage of Proposition B, a second fire station, this one located at the north end of town. And as John has mentioned about the response times, this would allow us to improve those response times on the north end and make sure that more citizens are covered, that we can get to your house and your family as quick as possible. I see somebody shaking their head here who lives on the north end of town. It'd be great to be able to make sure that the fire trucks could make it in that amount of time, right? But it's not just these two facilities. At the same location where the fire station would go, would be constructed a training tower where police could do live fire training in a burn building, a tower where they can practice going up and down stairs in a fire situation, facilities that our police officers could use as well for training. Their current homegrown solutions from that out on West Burton Street are no longer safe and no longer usable. We lack the opportunities for training, but this, we would gain it. By building a community center on that same site, we have the opportunity to become a regional leader in police and fire training. The community center would be available for the whole community to use, for events, for clubs to put on different things, for organizations and families and all sorts of different uses that a community center would hold, but would also give us the opportunity to become the hub in Northeast Missouri for fire and police training. The fire chief will tell you that his team is so well trained up. They are ready to go to not just train internally with their own crew, but that there are fire departments all around this region, Northeast Missouri, Southern Iowa, who are ready and willing to bring their firefighters to Kirksville for training. But instead they're having to go all the way to Kansas because we don't have the facilities to be able to provide that, right? The police are the same way. Our police officers are wonderfully trained folks who are capable trainers in their own right. The ability to be able to host trainings, to host a chief's conference, to be able to do that would really allow us to become that hub in a way that not only allows us to be known for these particular services, but also helps us in recruitment and retention then of officers and firefighters, something that every community is struggling with, and we would like to have an edge here in Kirksville when it comes to it. And then I think about a purpose-built renovation and expansion of City Hall. As John mentioned, that's a 1905 post office that we've made do with really well, but the services that the citizens have expected of their city have expanded a lot since the 1960s when we occupied that building. We've grown what city departments are there, and we have grown city staff. Even over the last 10 years, city staff has increased to address the needs that this community has in order to facilitate further growth. We're out of space at City Hall. We have an opportunity with an expansion and a renovation to have the space needed, not just to house the programs that we have today, but for a little bit of growth and room for the future. We have the opportunity to provide better service and access with dignity that would come through the front door of the building and get people to the services that they most regularly utilize. There'd be an opportunity to have a council chamber that, yes, would be a bigger council chamber for when we have really big and contentious events. I want everyone in our government to be able to participate with everyone who lives in this community. And that's a challenge we lack in our current facility, not just for the council, but for our advisory boards and commissions that make important recommendations to the council and serve as a natural conduit for input from the citizens. That space would also double as a heating and cooling site. We have run into some very cold temperatures this past winter, and when people ask, where are our warming centers in town? They're far and few between. The city of Kirksville is committed to be able to utilize that space to help support both very cold days and the very hot ones as well. The City Hall project is more about safety than just that. It's also about, in the basement, expanding out our 911 center. We are moving into a period where it is becoming more and more difficult to provide 911 services regionally. We do a great job of that here in Adair County, but when we look to our surrounding counties, many of whom have much smaller populations and fewer resources, it would be advantageous to them and advantageous to us to partner together to do 911 together. with an expanded and renovated City Hall, we'd be able to accommodate that space. And I think about the tornadoes that have tragically happened in several communities around Missouri over the past weekend. Communities that look a lot like Kirksville. The expanded City Hall would have a dedicated emergency operations center that would allow for a countywide response to bring all the players to bear, something that we just don't really have a very good dedicated space for that right now, but would be critical if we were to experience those kinds of emergencies. I want to make sure that we're prepared for those things. When we talk about solutions and opportunities, the opportunity is to make sure that we're ready for anything that may come. Let's talk about, it is a tax and it requires financing, so I'm going to turn it over to John.
Yeah, so the project is not inexpensive. We're asking to do several things, and we need about $28 million, give or take, to be able to pay for it. And what we've asked for is a 3/8 cent sales tax. And what that amounts to, just so we can talk about it, is I was thinking about when I went to McDonald's the other day, if I got a meal, it was about $10.75, it's another penny on top of that meal. If I go to the grocery store and we buy groceries for our family, the average family of four spends about $300 on groceries a week. That's an extra $1 in tax on that. So that's how much we're asking for. But we cannot afford this type of improvement just fitting it into our budget. It's just not something you can do. And so what we thought about was, what's the best way to do this that taxes the people that are going to use these services? They're going to use our fire services. They're going to use our police services. And that's going to be the people that live in the community, but also the people that come to Kirksville and come to visit our town, and they might need an ambulance, or they might need fire services, they might need the police officers. And so we're going to tax everybody that comes to this community based on the sales tax. And we're going to do that over 20 years. And one of the reasons we're going to do it over 20 years is because doing it over 20 instead of 25 saves us a bunch of money in terms of interest and things of that nature. And if we get to the amount to pay this off early, we're going to stop the tax. 20 years is the limit, but we hope we could potentially get there earlier. And the goal there, again, is to have as little negative impact on our citizens, but still, we need to do this to be able to pay for this. And if people say, well, why don't you wait 5 years? Why don't you wait 10 years? Because every year we wait, this gets more expensive. Construction is not going to get cheaper. If we wait until, say, if we do fire and police and we wait to do the City Hall until that's done, until that's paid off, that would add $7 million to the cost of doing City Hall. So if we do it now, this is the cheapest time we can do it. So I really hope you'll consider this. We're trying to do this in the best way possible to serve our citizens, to move the city forward and make it the most appealing place that it can be for both the people that live here and the people that are thinking about coming here.
Thank you, John. Again, these are challenges that have been present for a while, and the city has been working at this for a long time. We've had conversations in the council for many years on this, and these particular things we've been talking for close to 2 years on designs and improving, moving forward with that. We've tried to make sure that this is transparent as possible for folks. But I want to encourage people to make this transparent for you. What do I mean by that? When we go into the ballot box, we want to make an informed decision. I encourage people to go to kirksville.gov, and right on the homepage is a picture of our bank/police department that you should click on. And you'll have an opportunity to see all of the information about the challenges, about the solutions, about the opportunities, about the financing. All of that's listed out there. If you're looking for more information on that one, I would encourage you to visit one of the many different open houses that we'll be holding. John and I will be there, city staff will be there, we'll make our presentations, and we'd love to hear your questions to talk about it. There will be opportunities to talk individually with council members. I have been going around town, and I would tell you that the folks in my life are probably tired of every conversation I get into, ending up in a conversation about Proposition B, but I'm committed to making sure we've got an informed populace on this one. Because again, we're all gonna go into that ballot box, we're all gonna make our decision on how to vote. Let's make sure that we're making it in an informed way. And if you have questions, ask questions in the right place. Come to these forums, talk with a member of the council, visit City Hall and talk with staff on it. We want to make sure that everybody understands exactly how this is going to work. I've used the word pride several times tonight, and again, I'm proud to put this before the people of Kirksville. I'm glad that the council has voted to do so. This is an opportunity to grow our community, to take care of our citizens' safety, to address concerns, to look to the future. These are the kind of things that a growing city does. Kirksville is worth investing in. We as a people are worth investing in. And I hope when folks go to the ballot, they'll recognize that this is a worthwhile investment. We thank you for the opportunity, and I encourage you to vote yes on Proposition B on April 8th. Thank you.